We'll breeze through some very simple, quick tips, maybe too remedial for most people, but then we'll look at all your different sites that you've shared and we'll take a look at your site's SEO and see if there's any room for improvement.
Yeah, so the meat and potatoes really of this is going to be from those, if you want to call them live SEO audits that we'll be doing here. But before we get to that, we just wanted to give some real basic pointers when it comes to both on-page SEO. So, information, things that you could change actually on your website itself. And then also some other tips regarding Google and Bing, their webmaster tools, things like that. We also did a couple previous tips of the week from some past webinars regarding SEO. A lot of good information in those. So we wanted just to link you guys to that if you wanted to watch those later. And then after that, we'll dive into reviewing some sites live. So right on into the first one here, the on-page SEO essentials. So again, these are things that you can do actually on your website. Again, real basic, and we'll dive into more detail. You can kind of see some of this stuff in action when we actually review some of the websites in just a few minutes here. The first one, make sure your website, if it's a brand new BD site, is not in staging mode. When your site's in staging mode, search engines, Google, Bing, they're not going to be indexing your site because you're essentially saying that the website's not ready to launch. So if you want your site to be indexed, make sure to disable staging mode. It is disabled by default. You just want to make sure of that if you want your site to be indexed.
And yeah, let me show everyone where that is. What we've seen is a lot of people work on their site in staging mode and they forget to take it off staging mode. So if you're in general settings here, if you scroll down, here's your website status. You just want to make sure you're in live mode. Chances are you already are in live mode. This is just a whoopsie daisy that some people do sometimes. They accidentally forget to take it off staging mode, and that tells the search engines not to index and discover your site. So that's just a simple step there.
Perfect. Simple setting there. The second tip here, page intro. So this goes for both your homepage as well as any other pages you have on your site, especially ones that you really do want to have indexed and hopefully rank well in search engines. And that's adding some sort of intro to your web pages. You don't have to be too complex with this. You don't have to go into the weeds. You don't have to keyword stuff. You can just include anywhere between 2 and maybe 5 just natural, normal sentences near the top of your homepage or any other page that just mentions what the website is about, what users can do on the website on that specific page. And make sure in that you're including some of those primary keywords that you really want to rank for. So for example, on your homepage, you can make sure to say that, it's the best place to find trusted attorneys in Los Angeles. If Los Angeles attorneys is the primary phrase or keyword that you really want to rank for.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people complain about their SEO with Google not ranking them for certain keywords. And then I go check out just the homepage even, and none of their keywords or they're only the keyword that they want to rank for is only mentioned one time. And they're scratching their heads wondering what they're doing wrong. And really, Google and AI bots and all search engines, they need context. They need to know exactly what David said. What is your website? Who is it for? What you can do for it? Why it exists, et cetera, et cetera. And the more context you can give search engines, the more they'll understand. Remember that we're dealing with robots here. So the more they'll understand who and what and why your website exists. And that will give you a fighting chance against, don't forget, there's competitors out there. For whatever your website idea is, there's 10 other competitors out there. So you got to assume that they're doing as much as they can to also outrank their competitors. So yeah, page intro. We'll talk about SEO contents a little later, but that's really important.
Absolutely. And the third one here are your page headlines. So the BD system, it automatically adds the H1 tags to the primary headline of your web pages, your homepage, any other pages on your website. But you want to make sure that you're still optimizing that headline. So for example, if you have a landing page that you're trying to direct traffic to, maybe you have just some form on that landing page to collect leads or whatever the case might be, instead of having a generic headline on that page, again, make sure to include some of your primary or your main keyword in that headline. So again, for example, if it's a landing page, sticking with the Los Angeles attorneys example, for the headline, maybe you want to say, again, on this page, find trusted attorneys in Los Angeles or top ranked attorneys. If you really want to get specific, you can even include the type of attorneys if you want to try to kind of be really specific and targeted with the keywords that you're trying to rank for. And going along with that are also page meta tags. So again, the BD system, it takes this into account automatically when you're, say, for example, creating a new web page. Again, maybe you're creating a dedicated landing page to try to direct traffic to. You can actually set specific title and meta descriptions for that specific page. And so that gives you the opportunity to, again, really kind of narrow down the keyword search phrases that you want that specific page to rank for. And just a couple quick tips: your titles, try to be somewhere in the 60 character range. Again, include keywords, locations, if applicable, in the page title. And then the descriptions can be a bit longer, maybe a couple hundred characters, summarizing what the page is about. And again, you don't have to keyword stuff these things, but you do want to include the primary keyword, locations, things like that, that you want that page to rank for. And then lastly here is be sure to internal link. Internal linking is just linking to other pages on your website. So for example, on your homepage, maybe you're listing your categories or your registration page. Make sure to link to those pages. Maybe on a landing page, you're talking about a specific location. You can link that location to the search results page for that location. And what this does is it kind of helps Google, Bing, other search engines when they're indexing your website better understand the structure of your site and kind of help to pass that ranking power to those pages that you're linking to.
Perfect. Yeah. When you link to other pages of your site, you're telling Google, I'm linking to these pages because they're important for people. So I want you to consider them to be important as well. And then also, we'll cover this also. We'll do some reviews on some people's website, but you want to submit your site to Google and Bing. We'll share some of those links in a moment, but registering your site with Google and Bing raises your hand and lets Google know proactively, hey, this website exists and you should start crawling it and indexing it and adding it to search results. And Bing has it also. So we'll share those links for both the Google Search Console and the Bing Webmaster Tools. And then, of course, submitting a sitemap is very helpful for Google and Bing also. You preemptively tell them all the web pages that your domain has in it. And quick tip, just because your website has 1 million web pages doesn't mean Google and Bing will index all 1 million pages. They're going to pick and choose pages that have good, unique content, meaningful content. It's not duplicate content found on other pages of the internet. It's not similar content to another page they're already indexing on your site. So again, just because you have hundreds of thousands of web pages on your site, don't expect Google and Bing to index all of them. Another thing is keeping your site fresh with fresh content. So adding content to a site is the most labor-intensive thing to do. There are automated ways to do it, especially now with AI and BD's API and things like that. But another thing you can do instead of adding new content is sometimes refreshing existing content, even kind of just moving paragraphs around or adding a new paragraph or adding a new starting to an existing blog and then updating the publish date. That is a great way to kind of even show Google that you have fresh content on your site. And then lastly, just for your peace of mind, connecting Google Analytics is a great way to monitor and see traffic insights. There's paid services, but I think Google Analytics is the best general analytics tool. It'll show you your traffic, your most popular pages, and that'll let you know if you're going up or down. Hopefully over time, you're seeing an upward trend, but if you're seeing a downward trend, you can then compare and see what might have changed and then make some changes accordingly. But that way you're not flying blind and just making guesses, because the worst thing is tinkering on a site without using data. Obviously, initially you're going to work on your site, but endlessly tinkering on your site because you think this button should be 2 pixels to the left or this and that. It's the most efficient use of your time or the most efficient way to make updates to a site. So just some good tips there. And then lastly here, before we dive into some of the sites that you guys have shared, we'll share some links in the comments, but we had 2 really good previous tips of the week. One of them was for optimizing your BD website. It does a top to bottom, every single thing you could possibly do on your homepage to optimize your BD website. And then the second one is adding custom content to your search results pages. So let's actually go to a BD search results page. We'll just do the member directory. So it's a great search results page. It does have an H1 title, and then it goes straight into the member results. But in that webinar, in this one here, this bottom one here, we talk about how you can add custom SEO content to these search results pages and not just to the main search results page. Let's do a search for London, just as an example here. Great. So now we're looking at local businesses in London. Again, this is our generic webinar site. You can add custom content about London local businesses here or dentists or whatever it is. So you can bolster your efforts on individual search results pages and add rich content that both search engines and AI bots like to see. Now, again, your site probably has thousands of search results pages when you take into consideration all the locations and all the categories and all the exponential variations that exist. And that's one of the beauties about BD is all those pages are dynamically created for you. So pick and choose, and maybe once a week you decide to bolster 3 of your search results pages, and you have a system for doing that. You have an AI prompt for doing that, and we're going to share some AI prompts today with you guys to make things easy. But again, create a routine for yourself. Don't just set it and forget it. If put a little bit of TLC love and care, and you'll probably see some good results over time. All right, great. So I guess now's the time. Let's review your websites. We got some sites here. Let's just start at the top of the list here. All right, Fred, thank you for sharing your site. Let's go to it. What do we got here? Christian church search, like that. Okay, good. Christian church search. Let's just do a search for your name first and see what comes up. All right, Christian church search. Okay, we got Church Finder, we got Church Advise. Again, see, these are competitors here that we want to try. And here's Faith Street. So I'm not seeing yours here. I don't know how early or how soon you launched it. If you launched it yesterday, it might not be in Google search yet. Let's see if we can find it here. Yep, can't even find it here. So there we go. I spelled it wrong. So there you are, Christian church search. And here's a good thing. Google does, overall, it likes your site, not necessarily ahead of some competitors, but the fact that you have these links, and by the way, you cannot control these links. You used to be able to, but these are up to Google's discretion here. But you can see when we search your name here, you can see that Google does like your site because it's showing more than just your domain. Now, quick tip here. If you want to know how many pages of your site Google has, and let's open this here, has indexed, take your domain name, and all you do is cite : and your domain name. And if you hit search, it's going to find all the pages of your site here. So you have 10 plus pages. If I click 10, it's going even more. So Google, this is a seasoned site, but for some reason, it's not finding it in Google. Fred, if you don't mind typing in, what keywords are you trying to rank for too? The name of your website is one thing, but knowing what keywords you're trying to rank for is also important. And by the way, this is a good example. Google is indexing all these pages here. It's indexing all your pages here. You go up to 2000. So I think you have a lot of results here. Let's click on your site's search. Let's see how many members you have here. So you got 19,000 results here. So there are a lot of members on here. So let's take a look at your homepage for a second. And again, if you want to type in, Fred, what keywords you're looking to rank for, that'll give us some idea of what you can add to your site. So the name of the site is Christian Church Search. In my opinion, this is for finding churches around the country or internationally. So the H1 on the site says, welcome to our community. Now, if you're a site like Airbnb or Shopify or Yelp, you don't need to worry about your SEO. You're already ubiquitous around the world. But if you're edging to rank for SEO, again, we need to give the search engines context as to what the website is about. So I'm assuming this is your H1. Let me just check. Yep. And then it says, find your spiritual home today. So again, it feels good, right? It's welcome to our community. Find your spiritual home. But we don't have anything that says church in here. Find a church. And I really mean it literally. We literally need to tell the search engines what our website is about. So this is one area here is that you can improve, figure out what your keywords are and sprinkle them in there. Again, longer is even better. Welcome to our community. Find your spiritual home today. Search for churches. This should say search churches by name, search churches by location. Even that little touch there. Let's see here. Search church. I'm just using the inspector. This isn't actually changing on a show. Search churches by name. We are now here. You have find churches. I'll give you some points for there. All right. Number 2. The hero divider exists by default on BD sites. This is the hero divider. And it comes with all BD sites. Most people get rid of it or they change it, but it's there for that content that search engines like from the start. Here it says browse the directory, join the directory. Directory of what, right? Again, more context. So we can say browse the church directory, join the church directory, or even throwing Christian there, whatever you'd like. So again, this is an area. And instead of one line here, maybe add 2 or 3 lines. Find local churches in your area to do X, Y, and Z. List your church and connect with more visitors. We accept churches from all, nationwide, nationally, globally, whatever. Have questions about using our church search. We've got answers. So again, sprinkle it in more there. Our featured churches. So there we see the keyword listed again. Discover nearby places to worship and belong. So places is fine. Again, you might want to put churches in there again. By the way, your site looks great. You're using negative space. From an aesthetic point of view, looks super pro. So latest articles and news, give it a title, Christian news, or whatever you want to say. I don't know, something that has your keyword in it. Instead of want to join, who are you asking to join? The visitor or the churches? So want to list your church or your, that's who it looks like you're saying list your church today. So even with this heading, and I know you know how to change this text with the text label, so I'm not going to get too much into that, but this can say want to list your church. And then what we're really missing is a big piece of SEO content. David, do you have the Google Doc that we created, a link to that for SEO content?
I do. Let me grab the link for it, and it is going in the chat.
Perfect. Yeah. So we created this Google Doc for you guys, and all you need to do is, just to make it easy. Okay, I need to edit it myself. So basically what you'll do is, let's just copy the prompt here and I'll put it in the ChatGPT. So just put the focus and the keywords you want to target here. Add some internal links like to your join page, your search results page, your about or mission page, even your contact us page. And then let's see what this spits out here. And then I will put it on our test site here. So let's go to ChatGPT together. And again, guys, as I'm speaking to one website's tips, consider them for everyone's websites and tips. So let's, for yours as well. So let's say, the focus of our website is to find churches and places of worship. It's a directory of, I don't know, maybe spiritual house. I'm not too religious myself, but let's see, spiritual houses, churches for the Christian community. Okay, great. And it doesn't even need to be spelled right because it's AI. So internal links. So you're linking here, latest news. I would change this to church news, church events, upcoming church events. So we'll just kind of put some of these into the links here. And let's grab a couple more. The member directory, church finder directory. Again, another place. Christian results. This is what's on your search results page. This should be the church directory results or church finder directory. So I'll show you where you can edit some of this stuff as well. Let's continue here with the search results. I'll even put your join page. I know what that is. And we'll just do these. And one more, we'll do the contact, or we'll do the events page. All right. And then what we've done here, all you have to do is that, because the rest tells it what to do. And then we've added some avoid AI detection tweaks in here as well. So let's have it create this. Okay, perfect. So what it's giving us is the HTML to put on the site. So let's have it do it. Just a moment here. Okay, perfect. Again, context is key here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our design settings. And really the easiest thing to do, having it higher up on the page is more valuable. You might want a shorter blurb higher at the top. You may even replace the hero divider with a centered blob of like 3 sentences. And I'll show you an example of that in a second too. But what you can do is go to your design settings homepage and go to your streaming contents, additional sections here, and add a new section. I'll just use custom content 10 because I know that's empty. And what you're going to do is you're going to come here to the editor. Let's go back to here. And this gave us the straight HTML, which is what we want. I'm just going to click copy from here. You don't want, if it says like, here's the response for you, you cut out the AI response stuff that it gives you. And then because it's giving me an HTML, I'm going to go to code view, paste it, and that's it. Get out of code view. Now we have a chunk of text. It's not going to be the prettiest thing, but if you're a beginner and if you're fighting for SEO juice and you're starting out, at least give yourself at least the best fighting chance. It didn't even create good, I would say, who we are, what we do. I would make these more SEO friendly. Why use us? We'll update the prompt later, but we can save this now. And if we go to our test sites homepage, if we scroll down, we'll see now there is content of the bottom screen. Now, it doesn't look the best, I agree. However, this is what AI wants. You may not want to use all of it. This is 8 sections here. You may want to reduce it to 4. But again, just to give you the maximum starting chance, this is it. And we did things like who we are, what we do, extra benefits, why we're better than competitors. We even ask it to list competitors. That kind of pins you to competitors in a way. Why use us, how to join, results to expect after you join, and also what you get. So let's just read like one of these sentences. Finding a church can be surprisingly hard, especially if you're not sure where to start. We've made it easier. Our platform organizes thousands of churches by denomination, location, ministry, so you can quickly identify places that match your faith and lifestyle. So I'm just going to come back here. And as David said, the meta tags. So now I'm going to say, great. Create a strong meta title for our site, and the name of our site is, just give it this, and a strong SEO description. So you're wondering, what is a meta title? What is a meta description? That is what you see when you search Google, and then it shows the results. The meta title is the title of the results that we saw in Google here. Find and compare churches. Let's go to the beginning of this again. So it says Christians find and compare religious professions. Okay, so this is about religious professionals, it says. I don't know if that's the focus of your site because it says Christian church search, but might be all encompassing. So let's go here and see what it came up with. Here it says, find Christian churches near you. christiansearch.com, discover local places of worship. So where do we add or change the meta title? I guess, we'll move it to the homepage tab later, but if you go to your web page builder, your homepage is the first thing there. And BD starts you off with a decent meta title. But we can't assume what every single website is about. But here in the SEO settings tab, this is where you want your page meta title to be, and also the meta description. And we'll paste those in here. And now, at least based on what the bot gave us, we have a stronger meta title. So let's explore thousands of Christian churches and places of worship. If we look at what your meta titles are right now, I can look at the source code here. It says Christian directory, find Christians, christiansearch.com. So I don't know if it's for finding individual, like a people search, or for finding the churches. I'm a little mixed up here. And then here's your description. Search the most complete Christian directory. Find Christians. Again, very broad. If you can get more specific, the better, because find Christians, if you want to know how many websites around the world, just those 2 words are probably not enough to tick the needle. As we saw your competitors when we searched this Christian church search, and we see the competitor sites that come up. Let's look at their titles here. Churches near Orange County. I did the thing, find a congregation. Okay, so churches in Orange County. So hopefully those are some tips for you. We can move on to another example here now. And again, thank you for sharing your site. Okay, this is a good one here. Storagecontractors.com from Bert. Bert, let's check out storagecontractors.com. First, let's do a Google search for storage contractors. Okay, so people are advertising against storage contractors, so we know it's popular. Let's see here, storage contractors. Look at this little WordPress site. They're just doing SEO here. Storage sheds, self-storage contractor. So we're not getting much for that. Let's look a search for your nice 2-word domain name, by the way. I can give you props on that one. Let me spell this correctly. All right, storagecontractors.com. How come I am not, dyslexia is kicking in here? It's because Google keeps changing my storagecontractors.com. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. There we go. So storagecontractors.com. All right, let's see how many pages of your website Google has right now. All right, Google's got at least 60 pages of your website because we know there's 10 pages on it. Results. So this is either a new site, within the last month or two. But let's see what is going on here. So now we see self-storagecontractors.com. Is that the right name? Storage contractors. So it says all from A1 Supply, a free service provided. Find self-storage pros. Quickly locate self-storage contractors and service providers in your area to do what? I'm asking myself, what do self-storage now? It might be implied that people know what they do, but this looks like it's people who repair self-storage places. So like, is your self-storage unit in need of repair? Okay, so we go back to the thing. So I would add more context in your H1. It's okay to have a long H1. You could have triple this length. Find self-storage pros. We're missing the word contractor there. To the most trusted to do X, Y, and Z. Also include the problem in there in your H1. Quickly locate self-storage contractors and service providers in your area. Again, to do X, Y, and Z what? We do see a tag cloud here, which is great for internal linking. My recommendation, you don't have to take it, would be maybe limit this. A larger list like this could be towards the bottom of the site as a tag cloud. You may want to limit this to maybe 4 or 5 of your top categories instead. But this is not bad because it's just hard to find exactly what you're looking for here. And you do have the search here as well. Just again, on a high level here, select service. You can change this text and say, what is it asking you? Construction, remodeling, maintenance, self-storage, painting. I'm confused if this is a site for general contractors because it says ADA remodels and then self-storage pros. I'm just speaking from my mind here. Search contractors, search services. Let's hit search and see what we see here. Again, the context of this site is not clear. So now I see 1 hour drain. So at first I thought it was storage container thing, self-storage contractors. Can you explain to us what your site is about? Bert, I think you shared this site. If you can share what this site is for. You have some text here, which is fine. You could just show this. You don't need to do the cute little toggle here. This is actually just short enough text. I'm happy to see this, by the way. Service areas are based on contractor. Oh, this is about service areas. It's not SEO content. I thought this was SEO content for a moment. So yeah, you imported some results, which is a great starting point. That's fine. Let's go back to your homepage here. Again, featured members. Featured members are who? Are these contractors, featured service providers, members? Again, you don't want to use that word unless you are really a member community. This is more about finding professionals. We see.
So Bert did provide some context. He said we have a store that sells self-storage hardware supplies, all from onesupply.com. So this is a directory for our customers.
Let me read that again. We have a store that sells self-storage hardware supplies. What are self-storage hardware supplies compared to just hardware supplies? So this is a directory for our customers. Okay, this is a directory for your customers to do what, Bert? Finish that sentence. This is the best tip I can give for SEO. Finish that sentence. Explain to search engines exactly and literally. He wrote in. So Bert says, we have a store that sells self-storage hardware supplies so this is a directory for our customers who have both storage facility owners and contractors paint, roll-up door, repair parts. So what you just said should be on the homepage, these words, so it's more literal for the search engines. So what you have in your head, give it to the search engines, Bert. I'll leave it at that for that one. Let's go to the next ones here. Memorialconnect.com. Okay, this was, I think you were in a previous webinar. I'm going to spell this one right the first time. There we go. Memorialconnect.com. That's right. This was a nice website. Book singers for funerals or memorial events. So we're really touching on a spiritual side today in today's webinar. Okay, great. Let's take a quick look at your site here, Memorial Connect. Let's actually search Google. We'll do a site search for Memorial Connect. All right, Google has 3 pages indexed. Let's see which ones. It has your home page, your FAQ page, your search results page, all the important pages. Here's a category of your search results page. Let's do a search for exactly what your H1 says, book singers for funerals. Let's just see what comes up. So Gig Salad, they are ubiquitous for finding gigs and stuff. So we see the keyword that they're using, funeral musicians, right? Funeral music. So you have book singers for funerals. So again, music seems to be another keyword here. The third one is music, musicians, music. Only Yelp has singer and pianist. So this is a clue as to some of the keywords you should want to include. So you may want to say book singers and musicians for funerals, and then some subtext as well. Join today. I know you're speaking to the musicians. You should say musicians join today. Singers or musicians join today. Search for singers, that's fine. Memorial Connect brings together talented singers and music with family singing. Okay, so this is fine. Good. This is a good example of what the website does and what you can do on the website at the top there. Quickly find singers and musicians for memorials, also great. Singers, this is fantastic. The context here is resonating. I remember that you came a long way. I think you've taken some of the tips from before, because not from an SEO standpoint, but from a human standpoint, I understand what your website does. So you've already done a really good job with that. You have some featured singers and musicians, and then you have more content here. I think just adding some more SEO content. And then, of course, we want to get some backlinks. If you can get your site listed on other websites, this is also very important. In addition to that, and I don't know if you have it, but if you've submitted your site to Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster Tools, I think I have the links I can share here with you guys. If you go to search.google.com, I'll share this link here. You can register your site with Google and raise your hand and say, Google, hey, I'm here. And then also do the same thing with Bing. You're going to go to Bing Webmasters. I'll share that link also. And let's take a look at your meta tags here. Okay, your title tag is great. Memorial Connect, book singers and musicians for funerals. I will give you a tip. I would switch these around. I would start with book singers and musicians for funerals. I would add this, make this a little bit longer as well. If we look at those search results here, let's go back here. Funeral live music, funeral music, like you can add a little bit more in your title. Actually, David, I know that the literal character limit for H1s or meta titles, excuse me, they say is 60 to 80, but people are having good results having longer H1 titles with good keywords in them, up to 120 characters, even if all of that doesn't show in the Google title here. It is helping with SEO a bit, but they just have to be good quality keywords, and they all have to be related to each other. So if you want To really edge it, you could go up to 100 or 120 for your meta titles there. So it's not good. I would elaborate a bit more, keeping it broad because this is your homepage, but I would put your name at the end of it so that the focus of your site is what's given priority, and then the name of your site second. All right, good stuff there. And again, if you'd like us to review your site, just share it in the comments here. And we got our good friend Terry here, familyfriendly.com.au. I'm telling you, it's a spiritual day today. Let's see, familyfriendly.com.au. I'm doing this on purpose. I wanted to do a search. All right, so you are showing up there. Let's see what your site's about here. Let's actually see first how many pages Google is indexing of your site. All right, so about 40 pages. That for a directory, I think that can be improved definitely. Let's take a look. Holiday guide for families with kids. Okay. As far as generic titles, and I don't, Terry, I think this can be improved a bit. You can include the location. You can include, because these are very generic. Holiday guide. There's probably a billion holiday guides, and families with kids, kid friendly. Again, very generic title. You can drill down a bit more. It looks like your site is focusing on Australia. I know it's already a .au site. Let me just do a quick search here. So you have 152 results. That's good. It means that these listings have probably been added meaningfully to your site. Let's just click on one of them. Okay. Not much information on each listing besides a name and a city, and that's it. Let's keep going here. I don't know if this is a new site or season site. Dining, accommodations, activities, and more. Again, more context would be helpful here, and that's it. That's your whole homepage. So I don't know what you're hoping Google will rank your site for. There isn't much meat for Google to chew on here. Keep up to date with Outback Grand's adventures. Okay, so Outback Grand's, I'm assuming, is your mascot for the site. Let's click on some of these links here. Australia members. Are these cities? I think these are cities. Even this page, family-friendly recommended venues by location. Add some more SEO content to this page. Not much meat to chew on. Family meal deals, family events. No events here, so we're really not much here. So adding content to this site, Terry, especially, again, who the site is for, what the site is about, what you can do on this site, the benefits of using this site, why use this site. All those things would help with the SEO. And of course, ask yourself, if when someone does a Google search, what you want your site to rank for, make sure that keyword or that phrase and similar related phrases for that keyword are on your site as well. All right. Thank you for sharing your site, Terry. Hopefully those tips assist you. All right. Let's see here. We got our good friend, Neil, Go Local Arizona. All right. Let's see this one. Say Go Local Arizona. Let's see what comes up. All right, here we go. First result, Go Local Arizona. Let's do a Google search. We can see that Google has added the site links there. They're called. So Google does sees this as a seasoned site. So here you go. We're 10 plus pages. So Google loves this site. We'll keep going. So we have a lot of indexing on the site. Now, again, indexing doesn't mean page one. It just means that Google trusts your site. You're out of the 6-month sandbox period. New sites get into a sandbox period. So if you're designing your site and you don't want to launch and you're going to connect your domain in 2 months when you're ready, you are doing yourself a disservice. Put the staging page on, add a blurb of SEO content, submit your site to Google, and then work on your site for 2 months. When your site's ready to launch, it'll already be seasoned slightly in Google. Waiting to connect your domain for a site you know you're going to launch is probably the worst thing you can do. Just get it online. Oh, you're afraid people are going to find that it's not perfect, it's not ready. You're going to be 2 months behind on SEO if you're going to go that route. So submit your site, even if you're working on it, to Google as soon as possible. All right, let's check out your site here. Go local Arizona. Let's see what your H1 says. Find and support local Arizona businesses. So let's just search for this in Google here. Let's just say find local Arizona businesses and see what comes up. All right. Let's see here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. First page of Google for find local Arizona businesses. I think organic results after the sponsored ones. These guys are selling data here. 1, 2, 3, 4 results. And of course, that fluctuates. You're above Google's rich text here, which is also a big thing. And if you compare it to other results here, you have a bit more real estate. Google is actually adding some site links here. So this is good for you. Let's see what your meta title is. I'll give you some tips after that, just doing an assessment here. So your meta title, I would switch this again. Put the name of your site at the end of your meta title and put this is your tagline, the first place to find local Arizona business. I would even say, that's your slogan. I would be more literal with your title. I would get rid of the first place too, because that's taking up, I know that's your slogan, but it's diluting some of the keyword value. So if you just had find local Arizona businesses and maybe another variation of that, and then a hyphen go local Arizona, that'll give you a boost there. Also in your description, I would start with find local Arizona businesses, and then the first place to find and support local Arizona businesses. Small business has a new home. I would say Arizona small businesses have a new home here. Let's continue on your page. I would add an H2. I know you're leaning on your H1, but in your H2, Neil, include the purpose of the website and what you can do and more. I know you're going for the slim thing here, but that will add a lot of value. Here, I would, instead of saying search for businesses, you know what I'm going to say? Search Arizona businesses by name. Search Arizona businesses by location. You can keep find it now. That's cool. You have this tool, search local Arizona businesses. I would make these 2 or 3 lines each under each one of these. It adds good homepage content, and it's aesthetically pleasing to the visitor as well. So you'll be giving more context to both the search engines and to the visitors. It'll still look good. Newest members, you know what I'm going to say. Throw some keywords in there. This is fantastic. I own an Arizona. I have not seen it like this before, and I love this. I own an Arizona business. You look at that, you're like, that's me. Get listed now. The benefit is there because you're talking to the member. They say the riches is in the niches, and the more specific your site is, the more you can connect with your prospective member. For example, if I'm a lawyer, we'll stick with that, lawyer in Los Angeles. If I'm a lawyer in Los Angeles and I come across a website for local businesses, it says list your local business, I may want to join that. If I come across a website that's Los Angeles Attorney Directory, and I say, okay, I'm a Los Angeles attorney, I'm going to get listed here because that site resonates more easily with me. And it's an easier selling, but you're already explaining to them that you serve that type of professional. Now, you don't have to be so literal with that combination of a city and a profession. You can be more broad, but the general idea makes sense. The more your site can connect with a prospective member with regards to who you're serving, the easier sell and decision-making process it is for that member. Member articles, Neil, means nothing to me. I don't know what member articles means. I would say news from our Arizona businesses. Local Arizona coupons, that's fine. That can fly. List my AZ business. I like it. He's doing the whole state of Arizona, so it makes perfect sense. What you might want to have are your top 5 categories or 4 categories here. So maybe it's home service providers, legal services, find Arizona, this, that. Then you'll start ranking for things like, Arizona attorneys and things like that. Now, when someone's searching for an attorney or a plumber, they're not searching for an attorney in their state. But since you're state focused for now, you can get more granular with major cities and things like that. Another thing you can do is with that, use the custom blocks and maybe search my area and have, 6 key cities, Scottsdale, Phoenix, etc., some of the major metropolitan areas as quick links on the homepage. And you can have the content around that, say, search Scottsdale, Arizona local businesses. And then when you get on that page, have links, search Scottsdale lawyers, search Scotts. So you're really navigating people in, and that's the hierarchy of a site. And again, it's not, Rome wasn't built in one day, but pick and choose your most popular regions, your most popular categories, and build that chain from the most macro on your homepage to getting more granular on your internal pages. And that's the internal linking that we were talking about before. So overall, you've done really well on this, Neil. I would just take some of those suggestions and plug them in here as well. I also like you went no main menu here. Let's check out the internal part of the site here. And you've added the main menu once you're into the site. This is a fantastic strategy because it dials the user in to the main purpose of this site, which is conducting a search for local Arizona businesses. Another angle you can say is check if your business is listed, right? Like just kind of you want to see that your site's in the Better Business Bureau, like make sure your business is listed. So that's another angle for this. That gives a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, with these business directories, as well as they want to make sure that they're listed. So good job on this, Neil. And I like the branding colors that you use, this purple and green as well. All right, let's keep things moving here. I know I'm talking a lot, but we're just going to go over time here. All right, so Stacy, I'm gonna take you here. It's howtohelp.au with a heart emoji. So let's see here. How to help. Is it .com.au or just .au? .au. Okay, Stacy, if you want to share with us, what keywords are you hoping or trying to rank for? Without knowing that, we don't know if you're doing a good or poor job with your SEO. Let's see how many pages of your site Google has indexed here. Okay, so over 8 pages, so about 80 pages of your site. And let's see what types of pages. So Redcliffe, Queensland. So you are ranking for your search results pages, it seems. You even have just barely any content on this page, one result. So it is indexing it. However, there isn't much, doesn't mean that you're ranking #1 for it. So let's just take a look at the title tag. That might give us a clue. Okay, here we go. Charities, not-for-profit, and social enterprise directory. Find charities, not-for-profit, so non-profit, I guess, not-for-profit, and social enterprises. I guess not-for-profit is technically correct. Non-profit might be the more widely used word. So this is to find charities. We had to look deep into the code. This is a great website with a great cause. How to help. So this is how to help make the world a better place. So I would explain in your H1 that, find charities and nonprofits to donate to, nonprofit and charity directory. Be a little bit more literal. And then your subheading, help make the world a better place by donating to charities you care about. Again, Google can't know what your site is about being abstract with our titles and content on our site. Who do you want to help? Okay, great. So this is your drop downs, and it just goes from here. I like the button system a bit better. And you might want to go a little more full width on this, so it gives a little breathing room. As you can see, you're getting cut off here. So what that would look like, in case you're wondering, you can do this in your design settings. I think you have it. Let's see here. You have one more second here. Yep. You have it constrained. It should go full width, but you have it constrained here a bit. Let's see. There we go. There's a constraint on here. So that would be, just give this more breathing room so it doesn't have to. It says select subcategory. This is a text label. By default, you're not doing the top level category, so it starts with the sub level category. I guess this is type of charity. Okay, there's a lot of options here. Also going to say this. The category pitfall. When you start a site, you want to cover the whole world, the whole universe. Let's stick with local businesses, for example. You can go to Yelp and Yellow Pages and copy hundreds of categories, and that's fun. But, and you know what I'm going to say, now you have to fill all those categories. You're going to have a ton of empty categories on your site, and you're just creating an uphill battle for yourself. In my opinion, if you're starting a new site, or even if you're established, keep things simple for yourself. Be an expert in 10 categories. Right? Again, it's an easier to sell. You go after the professional. You say, yeah, we specialize in attorneys and home service providers in Arizona, and that's it, or whatever it might be. And just be an expert in 1 to 10 categories. And then you can always expand from there. But you make your life a bit simpler. Your marketing efforts are more focused and directed. Your sales pitch is more focused and effective. So just keep that in mind. If you have hundreds of categories you've added to your site, you might want to pull some back. So let's see here. Search by who? Search our database just by the cause you are passionate about. Again, we're not seeing the word charity here or nonprofit in any of these lines. We're using kind of more abstract terms. Search our database. Database is good. You might want to also vary it. In this one, say database, and this one, say directory. So you're adding more what's called keyword variation to your site. List your organization. That's fine. Join today. Add your listing in just 90 seconds. 3 options available. Our purpose. Okay, so now you have your purpose here, which is good. These are good places for SEO content. Just make sure, again, the what, who, why, how are all actually here with the keywords you want to rank for. Charity finder, Australian charity directory, right? It seems like you're focusing on Australia. Triple down on that. So again, I would just be a little bit more literal. You've made efforts here to add some SEO content. Here we go. We can show you how to help. The content is useless unless your keywords are sprinkled in them. So just circle back here. You're already doing the hard part of adding it in. Just make sure your keywords are here. Let's look for charity. So charity is mentioned 10 times. That's good. I don't know where, but it is good. And let's see, nonprofit. 8 times, so that's good. So again, it's good here. I would move it higher up on the page, again, because when it's higher up on the page, it has more SEO value as well. Thank you for sharing your site with us. All right, we'll go with one more here. We have Michael. He's sharing his site, stagehands.live. All right, stagehands. That makes me think of like a key grip or someone who works on a set. Let's see what we got here. And Michael, what keyword are you trying to rank for? If you can let us know what keyword you want to rank for, that can let us know. So coming to your site, are you a freelancer or business? That's too broad. Everyone's a freelancer or a business, so that's not specific enough. Join now to connect with event producers and clients and enhance your potential as a freelance stagehand. So that's good. Freelance, a technician or production provider. Seize the opportunity available in action. Take action today. Okay. You're asking users to log in on your homepage, so you're immediately blocking Google with a good H1. I don't see any benefits to join. Okay. Join Stagehands Live, Standard, Pro, or Premium. To do what? I'm not gonna go easy. To do what? What am I gonna get here? 3 search results, tier 3 in search results. I have no idea what tier 3 means. There's no context for this. Okay, here we go. Stagehands, I frequently ask questions. What is stage? Put this on your homepage. Explain it. What is Stagehands? Stagehands is a platform that connects stagehands technically. This needs to be on your homepage. Take some of these concepts and put them on the homepage. And I would name your plans more literally for who it's for, or the type of visibility they're going to get. Free listing, top visibility, premium visibility, I guess you're going for. He says here, brokers and businesses. I guess this is for people who give out or brokers you can go to provide you with stagehands and things like that. A little lost on the context on this site. So I understand what it's for, but I don't think search engines would have any clue what this site is for. Let me go here and see what's been indexed by Google. I don't expect much, but we'll see. Okay, you got at least 80 pages. That's surprising. We have some of the profiles. Oh, you have some PDFs indexed. So there you go. Google does that too. They index PDFs as well. So we got some of your PDFs indexed here from the sites. Your search results are here. So you can't get to this page from your home page, but they are indexed in Google, probably maybe because of a sitemap or some internal link. Once Google gets a hang of one link and it chains to other pages, unless you don't want Google to index these pages, it can find these pages. But yeah, I would maybe, I don't know. Obviously, this is a business model choice to force the login here. But yeah, I would follow some of the suggestions that we provided in today's webinar.